Hey, what's up everybody? I have the Spartan Collection Halo 5 Arbiter here from Jazwares. Super excited that they started making Covenant figures in the Spartan Collection. That was the only thing preventing me from collecting this line, was them not having any aliens, I guess you could say. But now that the Arbiter is here, it seems like they will probably make more Covenant alien species from here on out, so that should be really good. Here's what he looks like in the front. He's got 5 extra hands, his energy sword, and that gun that I forget the name of. Here's the back of the packaging and the other figures in the wave. I'm excited to check this Arbiter out. Arbiter is one of my favorite characters, so let's get this figure out of the packaging. What's up everybody? Here is the Arbiter out of the packaging. And I have unfortunate news for everybody. This figure is mid. But before we get into the figure review, I have to address the giant piece of tile right behind it. I was hoping that the figure would be a little bit clearer and you wouldn't be able to see my reflection in the computer screen. In the coming week or two, I'm working on getting a different table, and hopefully I'll have more room to review without the computer screen in the background. So for now, all the reviews that I have to review today are gonna have this in the background. But back to the figure. The reason why I say this figure is mid is because they still do a couple of things wrong. I'm more than happy that they started making, I guess you can say, alien species in the Spartan collection, because it was the only thing making me not buy any of the bigger Spartan figures by Jazwares. Now that they have this Arbiter, and they're also making Jaga in the Spartan collection, it was leaked on Amazon, the listing is up and you can see all the accessories he comes with. But now that they have these two figures, I'm more inclined to get the bigger Spartan collection line. But it does not take away from the fact that this figure still has some things that are wrong with it. For example, pretty much everything on the figure is loose. The torso especially. The legs are extremely loose. So it's really hard to get this figure to stand up. And to get the figure to stand for the intro was really hard. So unfortunately, it takes just way too much time to set this figure up and enjoy it. So I have to deduct points for that. And the head, they still haven't learned that they need some sort of articulation method to turn the figure's head to the left or right instead of having to turn it like that. Because if you want to have the figure posed like this and have his head turned in a menacing way, the only way to turn it is like this, and that makes no sense and looks awful. So that's really disappointing. I wish that they learned their lesson from the smaller World of Halo line. A lot of the elites in that line have the same problem. The Arbiter still has that problem. The poor Arbiter is getting the short end of the stick from Jazwares. Basically, this figure is really hard to get to stand, and if you try to make the torso go back more, it pops off. So honestly, I'm not enjoying this figure as much as I would like to be. I have no problem supporting Jazwares by buying their new products, but when they release new products and they're not any better than their original line or anything like that, then it inspires me less. There's a decent amount of detail. I would rather this figure be definitely a different kind of gold instead of a bronze, but oh well. Here's the face up close and personal. The eyes are kind of nicely painted. You can see his 4 little jawbones going on either side. Nice kind of ornate detailing on the top. Chest piece looks okay, with these white strips going through, a little bit of red as well. Big shoulder piece. Here is the back. It's got this white little sunscreen line going down the back. Arbiter butt and legs. Here's what the front of the legs look like. And his big old feet. Here's what the side of this arm looks like. You can see that the hand is a different color for some reason. And here is what the other arm looks like. Now we can go over the articulation of the figure. His right arm goes up a decent amount. Spin all the way around. His bicep kind of swivels. It's really hard to move, but there is a joint there. But because of this armor piece, it's kind of hard to get to it and move it. Say I just moved it a little bit. His elbow joint is probably some of the worst elbow joint articulation I've ever seen. His arm is not even able to come completely straight and is able to bend a decent amount, so I guess you can give it some credit. Wrist articulation is pretty good. And it's the same thing on the other side. Rotate at the bicep. The arm can go anywhere you want it to because there's no armor restricting it. And it has the same ugly kind of elbow joint over here. And the wrist moves a decent amount as well. Torso can barely turn left to right without it wanting to come off. Can go up and down a decent amount. The head, like I touched on in the beginning, basically has no articulation whatsoever. I don't consider this very useful at all. The legs have the same kind of articulation as the World of Halo figures. It's got a ball joint and the upper thigh can rotate. One of the knees can bend, the other knee can bend as well. The foot can swivel pretty nicely. These feet are kind of big and clunky, so it's kind of hard to make him actually stand, but it's nice that the feet swivel nonetheless. You can also go up and back. And also the individual toes are articulated, so you can do something like this. Pretty good. So now let's go over the accessories. He's got 3 armored hands, which are only meant for his right arm, and 2 non-armored hands meant for his left arm. Comes with 2 weapons as well. Comes with this. Looks alright. There definitely could be more detail on this gun since it's a bigger figure. They definitely could get in the nooks and crannies and put a little bit more effort into this. And here is his energy sword. I'm not particularly sure why one side is bigger than the other. I know his sword is different than all the other energy swords, but I'm not sure why this is a thing. I'm not familiar with what his energy sword looks like, so maybe that is accurate, but to me it looks a little bit funny. And the handle has a little bit of detail. It's got a little bit of indentation there and a little bit of gray on the actual handle. So that's pretty nice. He's got a about to grab hand for his right arm, a fist for his right arm, and a gun holding hand for his right arm. And for his left arm, he's got a fist, and he's also got a slapping hand for his left arm. Here is what the figure looks like with the gun in his hand. It's really kind of impossible to get his thumb into the back kind of hole area that you're supposed to, so that's why it looks like that. Here's what the Arbiter looks like next to a couple of other figures. So, like I said in the beginning, I really do feel like this figure was mid. To me, this was not worth $45. I really do not like to bash another figure that I think someone might enjoy, but me personally, I had a bad experience with this figure. $45 for this was not worth it. I do hope that Jazwares looks at reviews like mine and sees what they did wrong and listens to the community. My biggest gripe is the lack of detail and the lack of articulation, and my articulation being loose, which I guess you could deduct because the figure is really heavy, but that's also something that they have to look into, not making the top so heavy where it wants to flop over like this. So, I'm sorry to sound so hateful in this review. I am just not pumped up to buy any more of the Spartan collection. I have 3 figures from the Spartan collection, and I do not think that I will be getting any more. The World of Halo line always gets me excited to buy the next figure. These, unfortunately, do not. So I hope this video helped you make an educated decision on whether or not to buy this figure. I think if you really do need a Halo 5 Arbiter, this figure is here, and it's out, and it's current, and you don't have to pay marked up prices on eBay for it. But that will conclude this review. I hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully maybe this saves you some money and some time and effort for trying to find this figure. Remember to like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of this figure, if I was too harsh, in the comments, and possibly share. Get the word out that Jazwares needs to do better on their Spartan collection figures. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.